Welcome to the Undoku Hustle Show, a podcast designed to help people get started with entrepreneurship through the story of Undoku entrepreneurs and their process of starting up. With hosts Alejandro Flores-Muñoz and Victor Galvan.
Welcome to another episode of the Undoku Hustle Show, and I'm here joined by my co-host, as always, the amazing Alejandro Flores-Muñoz. ¿Cómo estás, vato?
What up, Victor? Bien. This exclusive episode, right? We're coming back from a little hiatus.
That's right. I'm so excited to talk about our agenda today, and just more than anything, just to show the level of growth, the personal growth, and then also just all the things that we learn along the way on our entrepreneurial journey. So we got two incredible things to talk about today. First being your launch of your new book. I've seen on social media that you're finally doing a Kickstarter to launch the hard copy, as well as to just get the book out there. How are things going?
Yes. So I'm really excited to be first launching a book. Like, I never thought that I would be writing a book, or like how this process would go. First of all, because I don't usually read books, and I put that out there a lot. I'm not a book reader, and however, I found that there was a need for something like this, because whenever I attempted to read books on entrepreneurship, right, I felt like they were just not meant for me, because I couldn't relate to the story. I couldn't relate to the narratives. And so I think in part that's how this book was born. No papers, no fear. You can do business here, which, by the way, the title was created by Victor Galvan, which is one of the best just chance titles, anything out there. It is really catchy. And it's going to be one of the reasons why the book is so successful too, by the way.
Oh yeah, I remember when I told you that, and like we both got so excited about it. I'm actually honored that you titled your book this, just because it's something that needs to be said and something that people need to know, right? Like, regardless of your status here in the United States, this place is the land of our entrepreneurship, and if you're willing to start a business, you can keep working here if you want.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's awesome. One thing I do want to ask you, I mean, who is this book for? Like, who did you write this book for?
Yes, since we've been out there with the whole narrative of the Undoku Hustle and showcasing our journey of entrepreneurship, and we encourage this, you both and I, through the show and just in our personal lives, we always encourage people to ask us questions, right? Like, and inherently, people will come up to me and say, "Hey, I saw that you launched this. Tell me a little bit more. Tell me how you did it, because I'm thinking of doing this, right? I'm also undocumented. I don't have papers either. I also don't have a lot of capital. I also don't know anything about marketing. I also have never done this before. Like, right? All of these things, I keep hearing them over and over. And so, that's why we launched the podcast, the Undoku Hustle Show, to talk about these barriers and opportunities. That's why the YouTube channel exists. And now I want to expand that onto this book, because I see two people benefiting from it. I see one is those people who are inherently like entrepreneur by nature, right? Siempre ando diciendo, I'm always talking about how, like, I didn't really see how entrepreneurial my mom was by her trying to sell tamales and flanes, right? Like, it lives in us. And so first, it's going to be for those type of people, for the people who are, the micro businesses who are selling from their homes, who are thinking to sell something, create something. I think those are the folks who are going to benefit most from this, because oftentimes you have zero idea where to freaking begin. You're like, okay, ¿dónde empiezo? What do I need? What license do I have? What should I get? And so, I made it so that I shared every single step that I've taken what is it that I utilize? What platform did I use? Right. So it's going to be for that audience, but then also it's going to be for a second audience for everyone else who's already doing it, who's already currently in the entrepreneurship game, but they want to do the next thing. They want to scale up. They want to figure out what the next thing is. And I believe that in this book, through different tactics that I've utilized, there's going to be someone out there who's going to also benefit from those same tactics because they're available out there for us, and we just gotta find out which one those are, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's incredible. I mean, I relate so much to that, and for me, like, to hear that there's another author out there that is creating a book for people like me and people like my family, that it gives me goosebumps, honestly. Like, that inspires me to follow in your footsteps. Like, we need more authors like you and me, and that we're writing for folks like our parents, for our colleagues, people like us, our peers. That, I just want to say, Alejandro, you inspire me. When you first told me about this project, it was behind the scenes, and then finally you came out with it, and it was just such a huge surprise, and such a treat to have seen you go through that journey. Honestly, it's been an incredible journey, to see you do that. Um, Moreover, I want to talk a little bit about the Kickstarter. For most people, I think that our primary English speakers have grown up here in the United States. Kickstarter, kind of came about and was an easy concept to understand. But other folks that aren't, diving into technology, or are in that right age to really understand innovative, crowdsourcing um, models. What is Kickstarter, and how's that going?
Yeah, no, I think Kickstarter, first of all, is like you just said, like a crowdsource kind of platform, which ultimately people with ideas can go into this platform and lay it all out with how they're going to build it. Maybe they have some prototypes, maybe they have, you know, already some sales. There's just a bunch of different things there that then you can throw them into a market and say, hey, back me up in this project because it's going to be very useful. And at the same time, you're essentially almost buying that product. And so I think what it does is when you don't have access to capital, right? And you know that you can deliver this product and you know it's going to be good, but yet you don't have the money to buy the sample products or to do a first round of printing or whatever it's going to take, you can put it out there and test the market with the Kickstarter, which is where I stand, right? Like, I don't have a lot of capital right now. All the capital that I do have is already invested in my business of Stokes Poke. This is just a side project that right now, because how things are with the pandemic, I'm not able to take anything out of the other business to create new sources of revenue. However, I can use Kickstarter as a way of saying, look, everyone, I have a product, I have it ready. I want to be able to put it out there at a bigger scale, and let me show you how. And so, if folks go to the Kickstarter, they just search my name, Alejandro Flores-Muñoz, or even the book title, No Papers, No Fear, You Can Do Business Here. You will find my Kickstarter where you can then back the Kickstarter. There are various rewards. You can, if you want to have your own copy of the book signed by me, you can back it up with a $20 donation, essentially. But you'll be getting a physical copy of the book. But there's also PDFs. There's stickers. There's different things. There's various rewards that you can contribute, and you will get something out of it. And most importantly, I'm only gonna fundraise and raise money for the book during these 30 days. After these 30 days, I'm going to give away the book for free, which is ultimately what I want.
So really, what people are supporting is for you to be able to give this book out for free, but you really need capital to get the book off the ground and up and running. I think that's beautiful. Like, that for me, you can count on me on backing your book. At the very least, the hard copy. I want to get the signed copy of the book. But to me, this is a great way to invest in a resource that the community absolutely needs, that we know will help other Latinos and immigrant entrepreneurs, and it's so exciting that we have a platform like this that allows you to do that. Um, quick question, like why did you decide to go this route instead of the traditional? I mean, like there's grants out there, like, you know, there's other ways of getting this money. Why'd you consider Kickstarter?
As I was writing the book, I was putting out the platforms that I utilized, right? So like um, Square to process my credit cards, or Shopify to run my e-commerce on Unum Sunglasses. And as I was thinking through the platforms I was using, and I even put in there some that I know are popular that I haven't used yet, and that's just because of preference. And Kickstarter was one of the ones that I thought about. And when I was thinking about adding it to the book, I was like, why not add it as an experience of like, I went through this as well. So me putting it on the book resulted to me actually using the platform. I'm like, you know what? I should just launch the book through this platform since I'm already talking about it. Um, and I think it's the best route to go. Again, they already have a infrastructure in place where it's easy for you to follow the application process, submit your information, and just alone through the application process, you're gonna experience some questions that you're like, wait, I haven't thought about that yet. Let me figure it out before I launch my project. And so um, it allows you to just like think through stuff.
Hmm. That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense, and that's great because you are opening this up to people who traditionally would never even run into this option as a way to build capital. And I love what you're saying is like, you know, that you can deliver on this product, but you don't have the capital to do it. And that to me, like, it's fertile ground for laying out your dream and vision to the community, right? It's making it's solidifying that in concrete, that like, I want to put this out in the world, help me do it. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So I I mean, I gotta ask, because I see you working and hustling on a daily basis. Where the hell do you find time to write a book?
Yeah. Um, there's time. If there's time for me to catch up on the latest episode of The Real Housewives of Orange County, there's time for me to write this stuff. But no, to be honest, I have there's been a lot of support out there for me that has allowed me to get to this. And so when I started thinking about this book, I started thinking when I was still part of the Immigrants Rising Fellowship. Um, being part of that fellowship, it allowed me to really like dive into like figure out ways that I can support community, because that was what the whole fellowship was about. It's like, through our entrepreneurship experiences, what can we do to create opportunities for others to jump on board on entrepreneurship as well? And so that this idea came about from that from that work, and I started working on that idea, laid it out, figured out what I wanted to do, and then I'm not the best writer. I don't consider myself a good writer at all. In fact, English is my second language, and I just haven't honed down my writing skills. I tell everybody, I'm like, I can talk and I can deliver a message orally very, very well. However, when it comes to writing, it's a little bit more difficult. But I didn't let that stop me from saying, I'm going to write a book and it's going to happen. So I went over to my favorite platform, one of my favorite platforms, which is Fiverr, and I found a ghostwriter that will put my ideas, my voice, my thoughts into writing. And so I spent about 2 months working with a ghostwriter, talking to them one on one, over the phone, on Zoom, sending my first rough drafts of my ideas. I wrote everything down that I wanted to write. Some of the things that I couldn't get into paper, I would just note them as a voice memo and then send the voice memos over to the ghostwriter. And then that's how I was to get, the bulk of the book was done through a ghostwriter, which was, it saved time.
That's awesome. That's awesome. You know, it's funny because this is something I would have never thought about. You know, like let me contract somebody to write my book for me. I don't have the time, but I definitely have the ideas. I can send over voice recordings of what I'm thinking, and they can
Also,
clarify in the book. That's incredible.
yeah, and I was also like, I already had 12, whatever, how many ever episodes of the Lucky Hustle Show podcast. I also had all those videos on the YouTube channel already, content. So I would just tell the ghostwriter, I'm like, okay, look, see this video that I recorded with Victor Galvan? Make that chapter one. Like, this is what I want chapter one to sound like. Here's the content, right? So they were able to use that. But then also, now I have one of my friends and a friend from my hometown of Santana, California, Jane, who actually reached out to me saying that she wanted to always, since she was 10 years old, she wanted to be a book editor, but she ended up doing different things. She had just finished being a pastor for a church in Indiana, in the state of Indiana. I forget the city where she's from or she lives in now. Um, but because of COVID, they got laid off as well from for her position. And so she's like, I have time right now. I would love to help you edit the book. And honestly, Jane has been amazing. Without Jane, I would not be able to have completed the book and make it so where I'm in the stage right now where I'm confident that I'm going to deliver a very well written book with very thoughtful ideas, with content that I have lived through and that I have been able to put into words that people are going to be able to benefit from. I am confident that I'm going to be able to deliver that because of the work that Jane has been put into it. And the most amazing part about this, Victor, is that as Jane was editing my book, she's like, Alejandro, through me reading the book, I have decided to launch my own publishing company.
Mm.
And so now this book is published by Arrow. I have to think about, I have to make sure I don't say that, mess up her publishing company. But through the steps that I laid out in the book, Jane was able to follow them, get at her LLC, find the marketing, the things that she needed, create the name, all that stuff, and now she has a you know uh, publishing company that my book is the first book she's publishing with, and it's called the publishing company is called um, Grow and Arrow Publishing.
That I mean, I want to applaud you for that, because that to me is what essence you are all about. I mean, you're inspiring people by doing the work, and by giving her the opportunity to edit your book. She was inspired to just say, fuck it, let's go all in. Alejandro did it, I can do it. And what the beautiful part of this is that she was inspired not by the grandeur of making a book, or like the sophistication of having your work published, but that someone like her was doing big things. And that to me is, in essence, what we're doing with this show. It's what we're all about, is inspiring folks with the simplicity of who we are and what we can accomplish. um yeah, I just want to applaud you for this. And what an incredible story. I mean, just that alone. For anyone listening to this, I really highly recommend that you go to Kickstarter, support Alejandro's book. You're going places, and I hope that I can write the coattails at the very least.
Well, I mean, Victor, you're doing some good things too. También, let's be honest. You just recently got nominated to receive an awesome award, the Emerging Leader Award by the Latino Community Foundation. Tell me a little bit more about that, porque that's huge news, dude. Honestly, congratulations.
Thank you. That came as a huge surprise. Um, for years I've been doing work in the immigrant and Latino community, and you never go into these things thinking, I hope that one day I'm recognized for this work. You do it because it's a necessity for the community, and you want to see your community do better. You never expect that people will give you an award for this kind of stuff. And I'm so humbled that Latino Community Foundation, one, recognized that I was doing work in the community, but two, to give me such an honor as the emerging leader award. They explained to me that that award will also come with 6 months of coaching um, from a contractor that they're going to pay for. And they're giving me opportunity to really perfect, one of the skills that I want, my salesmanship. And to me, that just is such a great opportunity to really get
Wait,
to the next level.
which mentorship are you gonna choose?
So it's they contracted a mentor who will be coaching me through improving my salesmanship.
Oh,
They had a few things that I
right.
could do. And what Carlos, the CEO of the Latino Community Foundation, or the president, told me was, focus on something that you really want. And
Mm-hmm.
I took a look at what she had to offer, and salesmanship for me is like, I want to be able to make that sale. I want to be able to connect with people and like really make it about making sure that the sale is beneficial to them. So really thinking about how I can do that, how I can really master that. And for me, I've always been coachable. I love learning from people who are experts, and the that opportunity to me was like gold. So I'm just honored to have been considered for the award. To be getting it is just incredible. I know, a lot of people on their board of directors, and it's people who I look up to, as well as Carlos himself. I just look up to all those people, and for them to be handing me an award is just, it's so humbling and incredible. And I just want to state that, like, this award, it came about because so many people have decided to walk alongside me in my pursuit of justice for the immigrant and the Latino community. And they've noticed because people have decided to march alongside me in this road to justice. And it's really reflective of all of our victories. So, to me, this is for all of them. This is for all of the people who have listened to my story, saw similarities in it, and decided, what, I'm gonna fight alongside you. And to me, there's no greater reward for our work than to just be noticed for that. Um, um, and along with that, like, we've had so many victories, tuition equity, the asset bill that passed in 2013, the license bill, and the improvement to those laws so that undocumented people could have access to licenses, the
Mm-hmm.
trust and community, the law enforcement community trust act that repealed our show me your papers law later, getting rid of notifications from police to ICE so that we could stop the 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 pipeline to deportation if someone ever encounters, or is imprisoned. That to me, those are incredible victories. And more than anything, it's been the one-on-one fights, like, fighting for people like Lupe Lopez and Jeanette Vizquerra and Arturo Hernandez. Like, for me, seeing those families stay together because of the work that we've done, um, and 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 just getting an opportunity to get to know them and their families has just been a treat. And I think that's what this award is really for. It's reflective of my years in this movement, and really being able to stand by community. And it's been an honor, really.
That's legit. That's awesome.
So yeah, I
Bueno,
mean,
I
beyond
think
that,
that
go ahead.
I think that we have reached our the end of the show, with some very awesome highlights, both from my book and your award. I think that, man, this journey's been amazing.
It really has. And I just want to thank all of our listeners for having joined us for this last season. And of course, this is a special episode, not only because of the book that you're writing, but the award that I've received. And we want to keep doing, and planning more of these episodes. I think in the year to come, we'll be fresh, not only with ideas, but more experience, and be able to highlight, what's happened since this last show. I'm really looking forward to getting over this election and winning, and I say winning because this election really belongs to our community, and I'm hoping that they'll make the right decision and make sure to choose what's best for us. And I want to see what our community looks like in a world that isn't completely petrified every morning when they look at the news, but hopeful that tomorrow is going to be a bright and sunshiny day, right? I want to get back to those and be more optimistic of the future. And I mean, that's our job, right? As entrepreneurs, we take, a challenge and we turn it into something hopeful. And I'm hoping that we get back into that space, not just for us, but for everyone.
We gotta be extremely clear. We're not a C3 led podcast here. We can specifically say Donald Trump needs to be out of the White House, and we gotta elect Joe Biden and Kamala Harris this November 3rd. Like, as real as that, and as well as all your other Democratic candidates that are on your ballots.
That's right. Is
that?
No shame in that. No, you're absolutely right, and I think we need to say it for our listeners, like, for those of you that can't vote, get people out to vote. You still have a voice and power, and don't let this system disenfranchise you. Like, you are the reason why we've been able to make DACA happen. You are the reason why we've been able to make asset happen. It's because undocumented people without the power to vote, have gone out there and told their stories. So now it's time to tell our stories again, how our community has suffered under the grips of this administration, and we need to take those stories straight to the ballots. So for folks that can't vote, tell your friends, tell your family who can vote. Those kids that were born here, your cousins, your little brothers, your little sisters, the uncle who became a resident, long time ago and is now a citizen. Like, get those people registered and get them to vote, because it's their opportunity to make the life of immigrants all over the country better if we get this dumbass out of office.
A huevo. And before we go, I want to drop some resources really quickly. If you live in California, Texas, or New York, there is a grant called the Power Up Program, which will grant over 500 eligible Latinx small businesses across California, Texas, and New York with a $5,000 grant paired with coaching, support, and resources. So Google the Power Up grant. We will also put it here on the show notes.
Yeah. So just in closing, we want to thank all of our listeners once again. You can always find us on Instagram, on Facebook, and all the social medias. You can, of course, follow the Undocu Hustle Show. You can follow Senator Flores on Instagram, Victor Galvan 247 for my Instagram page. And, of course, share, like, comment, and make sure that other people hear these amazing resources and stories. Thanks again, and until next time.